Hello everyone, my name is LGracian. I'm an elementary teacher and I've been teaching since 2018 in grades ranging from preschool all the way through 5th grade. I am currently teaching in a 4th-5th combo class and work closely with students from low-income backgrounds. Literacy is something that I'm really passionate about, especially supporting students who may struggle and they need extra help and support. I want to also help teachers feel confident in the strategies they use. Today, I'm going to be sharing a quick overview of the 5 components of reading, how they connect to writing, and some simple strategies and resources that teachers can use right away. Okay. There are 5 components to reading. The 5 components of reading are phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. These components don't work in isolation. They all support one another and directly connect to writing. When students can hear and work with sounds and patterns in words, they become stronger spellers. When they read fluently and understand what they're reading, they're better able to organize their thoughts and express them clearly in writing. Strong reading instruction really relies on the foundation of strong writing. We are now going to be moving into instructional strategies, and I will start with phonemic awareness. One strategy teachers can use is oral sound manipulation, such as asking students to say a word, then removing a sound or changing the sound. So for example, if I say ship, and then I would tell the students we're going to say ship without the sh sound. I would then say we're going to change it up to using the p sound. Then we would go ip, and then this would help students with understanding that sounds can manipulate a word. For phonics, we would do something like a word sorts. This works really well. Students can sort words by spelling patterns, vowel sounds, or prefixes and suffixes. This helps them recognize patterns they can apply when reading and when writing unfamiliar words. Also, with word sorts, we could finally utilize the spelling patterns that are there, and it could help students really well with some words that they're just not familiar with. With fluency, I would support it by repeated reading. It is a simple but effective strategy. Students reread short passages multiple times, either with a partner or independently, and I've done this in the classroom with partners, and they just love it. We do this 6-minute where one student gets out the passage, they read it out loud, and you see and students build this accuracy, and it just shows up in when they're writing as well, because they are continuing to read. This is a repetitive reading, and it helps with just reading and writing. For vocabulary, I like explicit instruction and using student-friendly definitions. I like to introduce words before reading, and I put a word wall up and we discuss them together, and encouraging students to use them when they're speaking and when they're writing. So if the word wall is out there for the week, we utilize the words and we make sure that students are utilizing the word throughout the week. So for example, if we were to use we grab a passage and we see a word that we're unfamiliar with, I front load them with it, and then we move on by utilizing that word throughout the week. A great strategy for comprehension, in my opinion, would have to be graphic organizers. Story maps or main idea charts. These tools help students organize their thinking, which makes it easier for them to respond to text both orally and in writing. And when we use graphic organizers, I model to them what it's going to look like, and then students do their own independently. Of course, we begin this strategy at the beginning of the school year and making sure that students know what they are expected from them. And a writing strategy, it would be sentence frames. Sentence frames are a great way to help students. They provide structure, and it allows students to critically think about what they want to talk about and express their ideas. It is very especially important for developing writers. With assessment and progress monitoring, this is very important because they help us understand where students are and what they need to know next. They also help teachers adjust instruction before students fall too far behind. I really do appreciate assessments because it just shows where a student is and where we need to grow, what is something that we need to help the student with, where do we have to scaffold. Some effective ways to monitor progress include running records. I really do like to keep a running record of what my students are struggling with, and definitely track, especially with fluency and comprehension. I keep a lot of writing samples and rubrics to see their growth over time. And I mean, these are just a couple of ideas for progress monitoring and assessment data that I keep in hand. Very, very important in my opinion. One online resource that I really recommend is Reading Rockets. It offers research-based strategies, videos, and printable resources that support struggling readers and writers. It is very teacher-friendly. Many of my co-teachers are using Reading Rockets, and it has such a great impact in the classroom, especially with the worksheets that are there for you, ready to go. Reading Rockets would have to be a great resource out there. The role of the reading literacy specialist. A reading and literacy specialist play an important role by supporting both students and teachers. And I think that the most important aspect of everything would have to be supporting the teacher, because if we are, remember, we are a team, we are a community where we are helping everyone. And a reading literacy specialist is out there to help support the children. But at times, reading literacy specialist cannot always focus on just on one-on-one student. So she gives out strategies to the teachers so the teacher can help support those struggling readers, those students that need that extra support that just a reading literacy specialist doesn't get a hands-on. So for sure, the role of a reading literacy specialist is to come together with the teacher, play teamwork here, and just make sure that everybody is getting the help and support that they need. Thank you so much for taking the time and listening to my presentation. I appreciate the opportunity to share these strategies and how a reading literacy specialist plays a huge role in the life of the students. Thank you.